Pozdravljeni. Sem Natašo Kogoj in dobrodošli v mojih pogovorih, ki jih imam s prav posebnimi gosti. To so ljudje, ki s svojim življenjem, s svojimi dejanji, ki so seveda rezultat njihovega načina razmišljanja, njihovih navad, odločitev, njihovih prepričanj, dokazali, da v življenju resnično lahko živimo in imamo vse. To so ljudje, ki dajejo sebe svetu. In to so ljudje, ki so nam inspiracija, navdih, spodbuda, podpora. In eden izmed njih je nedvomno moj današnji gost, dr. Ichaka Kalderona Adizesa. Isaac, welcome in my thoughts and thank you for taking time.
I'm very glad to be here.
For the beginning, let me introduce you. Dr. Adizes is one of the world's leading management consultants. Okay, let's start with your basic activity. You are a consultant to corporations, to their leaders. And I'm finding interesting your statement that I read in an article where you say that knowledge is transitory. What do you mean with that statement?
Because rate of change is so enormous that what we know today will be wrong tomorrow. Everything is moving. Even people challenge Newton's theory of physics. Now they're challenging Einstein's theory of physics. Everything we know today will become obsolete tomorrow. That's why it's transitory.
Interesting, thank you. Let's talk a bit more about leaders. What is it that makes a good leader, and what are the basic characteristics of a good leader?
That's why it related to my previous comment. Because knowledge is transitory, what makes you a good leader is not what you know, but what you are.
Okay.
To be. And what does it mean to be? Because we live in a very complex world and we really don't know enough. As a matter of fact, we are all becoming more and more ignorant rather than more and more knowledgeable, in spite of all the education and many years of going to universities, because of the rate of change. Everything I got from my doctorate today is obsolete. Because we are becoming more and more ignorant, we need to work as a complementary team to learn from each other. You know this, you know this, you know this, I know this. Together we know together. Together we know more. But that creates conflict. Because different people have different styles. They look at the world differently. So when they contribute their knowledge, they contribute based on their point of view. That creates conflict. So what's a good leader? A good leader is who can handle conflict. How? The symbol of my methodology is a hand. Please realize, look at this. This is called a khamsa. This is a symbol. In the Middle East, women carry it on their chest, enters to the house.
Yeah.
You know what this is? This is a symbol. First of all, which is the most important finger? By the way, it's not even called a finger. Which one? This one. Why? Because this is the only one we can work with any other finger. The others cannot. It is an integrator. It makes a hand a hand. That's why in some languages, this is not called a finger. It's called a hand maker. It makes a hand. So a good leader is not this. This is in the past. I know everything. I'm telling you what to do and just do it, or otherwise I fire you. Obsolete, because you don't know. You don't know. Your workers down there on the line know more than you do what's going on. Your job is to know the knowledgeables. To know the knowledgeables and to make them work together. And that means a person who commands and grants respect and trust. If you cannot be respected, if you are not trusted, you're not a leader. And that applies to a parent. A parent also has to be an integrator of the family. It also applies to a leader of a company, applies to a leader of a country. Your job is to monitor, to nourish, to develop a culture of mutual trust and respect. When there is mutual trust and respect, you're a good leader. If you do not develop that, like Trump is breaking down trust and respect, he's a bad leader. I don't care the quality of his decisions. He's a bad leader because he's destroying the culture of the country.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. In your case, I was fascinated by your curiosity, openness, and your sparkle. For me, this was a precious gift that I received from you and that gave me more possibilities in life and helped me to see more opportunities. So I'm interested, is curiosity also one of the important characteristics of a good leader?
Absolutely. I have a sentence that I say in my lectures. Be curious before you judge.
Yeah.
Usually, when we look at people, we judge them before we know anything. Why? Because we are making assumptions. I assume that you did this because of this and that, and thus I don't like what you're doing. You're assuming. It's called expectations. I expect you to do this. And now, why didn't you do that? And not everybody knows what you're expecting. So first of all, be curious. Find out, why did you do this? What happened? What are you doing? And once you accumulate information, then judge. Don't prejudge. Be curious before you are judgmental. Now about my curiosity, I don't know where I got it from. I really don't know. I'm blessed. God loves me. And I'm all the time learning. And I'm all the time learning because I have no fear to say I'm ignorant. I have no fear to say I don't know. I have no fear. I don't mind if I tell, even in my classroom, I say to people, I don't know. All my blogs that I write every week, which I think you have received, I always say at the bottom, just thinking, not knowing, just thinking. And I might be wrong. I'm constantly claiming, I think I'm constantly wrong, but I'm learning all the time. So if you have no fear to be wrong, if you have no fear to be ignorant, then you have an open mind. Then you absorb, then you learn. And I believe a day that I did not learn something is a day that I died. As long as you learn, you're young. I'm 81 years old and I'm still learning all the time. I mean, I don't feel 81. I'm going to forbid people to know my age from now on. I'm going to say I'm 50 plus. I have no idea how old I am. I don't care. This is all a number. I'm constantly learning every day. And you cannot learn only from people. You definitely don't learn only from books. You learn from life. You learn from storms. You learn from clouds. You learn from everything. You look around and say, wow, this is interesting.
And this is your curiosity. Thank you. I still remember our discussion when we talk about democracy in the firm. And how important it is that everybody expresses their opinions and is involved in the process. But once an agreement is reached, there is no more democracy, as I understood.
Yeah.
Only respect and fulfilling of the agreement. Was my understanding correct?
It's more than that. Once a decision is being made, no more democracy, dictatorship.
Yeah.
Why dictatorship? Because this was a mistake of the anarchists in the political science. They believe that we need everybody to have the right to express their opinion. That's good for decision making. But if you try to make everybody to agree how to implement a decision, you have chaos. It's impossible. You know, what we need to do is ask people, what do you think? What do you think? Learn in order to make an educated decision. Because as I said from the beginning, we don't know. we really, truly don't know what's going on anymore. We don't know. It is so confusing anymore. Because of that, learn. But once you made a decision, that's it. Now you have to be efficient in implementation. Otherwise, your decision is not going to be implemented. And if it's going to be implemented badly, you decided to have a horse and now you have a camel as a result. No, no, no. You have to implement it. Does not mean you don't change your mind.
Yep.
You might start implementing and say, oops, it was a bad decision. Start the circle again. Democracy, implementation, dictatorship. So I think that's why I call my methodology democratship. Democratship. Now, it's not easy. Why is it not easy to do it? Because people that are democratic in decision-making continue being open-minded and flexible and all in implementation. And people that are dictatorial in implementation are also dictatorial in decision-making. So you need now a split personality. You're open-minded, listening, until you are educated enough. You're not asking for a vote of confidence. No, I learn. When I'm not learning anymore, I say, thank you very much. Done. And here is my decision. And everybody doesn't like my decision, I accept your resignation. No more discussion. This is a very split personality. Not everybody can do it. Thus, if you cannot do it yourself, you need a complementary team. One guy is an integrator, leads to the decision maker that you accept. Once you accept a decision, you carry it out. Or you are the open-minded guy, and then you have a COO, Chief Operating Officer, who implements your decision. So you need a complementary team. You need a complementary team. Making a decision is very feminine, because that's what women do. You know, they talk to each other all the time, you know, and they think and they share information. Implementation is very masculine. Do it, whatever I say, no more discussion, that's it. So what we really need is a partners. We need a feminine, masculine energy working together.
Yes, everywhere. Thank you. Over the years, working with hundreds of companies and hundreds of executives, you got feedback from your clients that Adizes methodology used in consulting work applies to family life as well. You say that an organization is a system and a marriage is a system too. Interesting. Can you tell us something more about?
Yeah, this is something very interesting that happened because my methodology that I developed over the years, and by the way, the Slovenian older population, or at least people that listen to this tape, they should know that I developed my methodology based on self-management, samoupravljanje.
Yeah.
I studied it for my doctoral dissertation for Columbia University.
Yep.
And then I discovered that this is the solution to civilization. Unfortunately, it died in Yugoslavia. And by the way, I used to correspond with Edward Kardel, the Slovenian, about the methodology and why it will die. Self-management will die because you cannot have dictatorship at the top and democracy at the bottom. It doesn't work. And you cannot have a system which negates capital. So I did not convince him. Unfortunately, the methodology died, but I improved it. And then I did it for companies. And I'm really the only guy selling, quote unquote, self-management around the world and improved self-management methodology around the world. But then I realized something very interesting. Over the years, my clients will tell me, you know what? It changed my life. I said, wait a moment. I was not dealing with a life. I was dealing with a company. No, but I now use it in my family and it really works. And I don't know, my marriage is better. So I said, well, let me see what it is. Then I started thinking about it and I said, absolutely true. A family is a system too. You need to do budgets. You need to control the money. You have to make decisions and you have to implement decisions. The same thing like a company. There is no difference. As a matter of fact, the difference is that it's much more complicated. The smaller the unit is, much more complicated because there are emotions now, you know, and all kind of proximity breeds contempt. So it makes it more difficult. When you're in a company, there is some distance, so there is some capability to deal with conflict more easily because of the personality distances. In a family, you sleep in the same bed, you're there eating every 3 meals a day. It makes it more difficult. But that's why we need a methodology, because of the difficulty. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a book, which I wish it would be translated to Slovenian. I hope so. It's translated to Serbian and Russian and Spanish, but not Slovenian. And it is to take a look at the family like an organization. Doesn't have to be a business, like any organization. And how do you manage an organization? How do you create democracy in decision-making, dictatorship implementation? How do you create mutual trust and respect in a family? Mm. How do we listen to each other? How do we make decisions together? And it's very complicated now because it's not the past where there was a hierarchy and the man was a man. Today we have to manage this way. Look at this. This is when you do meditation like this. This is a symbol too. You know what the symbol is? Masculine and feminine energy working together. Yeah. Do what you want to do, but in a friendly way, together. So I think that today's family is not this anymore. It is this. And this is difficulty because they have different personalities, different styles. And my whole body, my whole methodology is how to create complementary team, how to work together. So that book is how do you work? It doesn't have to be marriage, relationship. You're in a romantic relationship. We love each other, but at the same time, we have a hell of a difficulty working together. So how do we do it? That's what my book is about.
I just love it, and I also implement some your methodology in my work with my clients.
Good.
Coaching and family therapy. So I really like it. So
translate my book to Slovenian, please.
Okay, this is my task now.
Okay.
So your work is complex one. You have to devote yourself completely to your job. You travel a lot, spending time away from home, or maybe you did more in the past. How do you manage to coordinate your work with your private life and family? And where do you find time for writing books?
The answer is, I do it badly. I wish I was doing better. I would not say that I'm successful. But I'm not failing. I mean, I'm not successful based on the expectations I have for myself, of the standards I establish for myself. But if other people look at me, they say I'm successful because the standards are different. How do I do that? First of all, I have a very understanding wife. That helps. She lets me be myself. She never says, oh, you don't give me enough time, you don't give me enough attention. Never bothers me. She really lets me be, and I let her be. We let each other be. Number one. Number two is, I don't know where it came from. My parents never expected me to be anything. Do whatever you have passion for. As long as it is honest, as long as it is with integrity, and as long as you are happy. So they didn't even know what I was studying, really. They said, are you happy? I said, yes. Are you doing it with integrity and with passion? I said, yes, do it. I do the same thing with my children. Wonderful. I have not requested my children, you should be a doctor, you're doing the wrong thing, you should be none. Do whatever you have passion. And all my children are very passionate about what they do. They're very successful, so I let them be. Again, my wife lets me be, I let her be, I let my children be, as long as we live within values. The important thing is the platform has to be right. We share the same values of integrity, of honesty, and serving more than their own self. Because if you only serve yourself, you're a cancer. Do something that improves the world. Do something that you are proud that when you die, you left the world in a better situation than you found it when you came. And as long as we do that, it's fine. So now, what do I do with my time? based on that, because I'm free to do whatever. Right now, you see, I'm in Guadalajara. My wife is in Santa Barbara because she wants to be there. So be there, and when you come back, we come back. We are free. Well, how do I allocate my time between my books, my consulting? I try to, okay, here is, I think, what you have to do. You have to decide what are your priorities. And then you have to do budgeting of your time, to budget your time, budget, like you budget money. And I look at my calendar and I say, I want this time to write my books. That's it. Don't bother me. This time is going to be for administering and managing my institute. And this time is for consulting. Like now, for instance, because of my surgeries, I don't have much energy. I have less energy than usual. I said I'm not going to have more than 4 clients.
Okay.
I don't care how much they pay me. 4 clients, end of the story. And all of them are not even in person. They're by Zoom. So I give them 2-3 hours a month by Zoom, and I'm done. So that is my, for, to earn enough for a living, I call it. This is to bring bread to the table. The rest of the time now, I'm totally dedicating to my institute because we are growing. We are already in 10 countries. We are going to open 7 more countries this year. So the institute is growing, and I want to manage it so that not to lose the value. Because as you grow, you start compromising values, and all at once at the end, it's not what you wanted, something else. So I'm trying to control it so the growth is controllable without losing values. So I would say I'm spending 80% of my time on that. This year is dedicated to that because for 2 years, because of my medical condition, I was not involved in the institute. So I have to go back and get back in control. And so the other 20%, I write my blogs. That's all I have time for. But as soon as I finish putting the institute in shape, and I'm going to make a lecture tour of the world in March, April, May, so that I get back into the picture, I'm going to go back to write. So that is the plan.
Cool. It sounds great. Let's focus a bit more on a family. Your son Topaz is working with you.
No, Topaz he has his own. No, Shoham is working with me.
Okay.
Topaz has his own company.
Okay, sorry, so I misunderstood.
Okay.
But anyway, how do you manage to coordinate your teamwork and cooperate as father and son? Because I think so that it could be quite challenging.
It's not easy, Natasha, not easy. I would lie to you if I tell you easy. It's not easy.
I
established some rules to make it not as difficult. The first rule is, at work, he never calls me daddy or ICHAK. I'm Dr. Adizes, like everybody else. Dr. Adizes. He has to treat me exactly like everybody else treats me, which is formal. Formal talk. He cannot interrupt me. He cannot, he has to show even more respect than the other people in the company. And I treat him by the same way. I say, Shalom Adizes. I do not look at him as my son. Never say my son. In the meetings, we are not father-son. We are not. Number 2, I made a mistake, so I want to teach them not to repeat the mistake. Many companies, when the son or the daughter joins the company, they put them on an accelerated growth rate to go to the top of the company. I made the same mistake. When I got sick, I said, who is going to manage the institute? Obviously, my son is my, mistake. Because I put him too fast up, too fast. And all at once, I am the son of the owner, I am Adizes, very dangerous. He's very smart, he's very, very, very good, but not enough experience. So you be sure, when you bring family into the business, do not treat them as family. I've seen it with my clients. They give him a job he cannot do because he is family. Big, big bloody mistake. The guy fails and it ruins the family relations. Give them a job that if this person, family member, came from the street, would you hire them? If not, don't hire them.
Oh, wow.
Don't. You're going to burn them. If you're going to hire them, fine. For which job would you fire them? Don't think they're your family. Don't, please. It's somebody from the street. And then what job would you give them? And then if you promote them as if they're not family. As a matter of fact, my rule with my son is, I expect from you more than I expect from anybody else in the company. Why? Because you're my son. So I'm not going to promote you, I'm not going to pay you a bonus unless you do better than anybody else that gets the same bonus. So you have to be more strict with your family than you're with somebody else. And be sure you don't promote them just because they're family. Be sure you do not even hire them because they're family. And how do you prepare them for succession? From the bottom up. And then maybe they will never be the president of the company. Then you split the company. Who is an owner, who is management? And let the family be owners, but don't make them managers.
Okay,
because they're going to destroy the company. There is an expression in Spanish: father businessman, son playboy, grandson beggar. They destroy the company in 3 generations. And the son is a playboy. Why? He did not build it. He's not milking the cow. He did not feed the cow. And they become playboys. You know, money coming easily, top of the power comes easily, and they will destroy the company. They will destroy what you built so hard and worked so hard for the years. So be careful.
Oof. But anyway, I remember one of the most inspiring talks ever for me was between you and your son Topaz. It was called "Will You Fall Apart If I Die?" This was amazing talk and really very touching. Openly and sincerely, you both are sharing with the world your feelings as father and son. You opened yourself completely. Do you remember this talk?
Oh, yeah. But this is a company that first started, for which he got an Emmy. He got an Emmy as a top prize in television. It's like an Oscar of television. He got an Emmy for, not for the interview with me, but for the innovation.
Yes.
It's called The End. And I recommend to everybody in Slovenia to go to the internet and look for it's called The End, A-N-D, A-N-D, End, you and me. And he created that, and he's working all over the world now. And now going to do in Israel, to do a session like this between a Palestinian and Israeli, both of them victims of terror, both of them victims. A victim with a victim. And really, let me tell you something, really, it created something very interesting. When he told me what he's going to do, 2 people asking each other questions, I said, what the hell is that? You know, what is that?
Amazing.
Then he said, come and experience it. And now what is interesting is when you put a camera and lights, that's why when we interrogate people, the room is dark and there is a light. You cannot lie. Do you know that? You become honest. All at once you become honest. So now with the lights and the camera, and we ask each other very intimate questions.
I remember.
People become very honest. And he is now creating this vehicle for people to communicate, because we are not communicating anymore. Everything is by email and by SMS. He's creating a way for mother to talk to her daughter, father, son, wife, husband. It is incredible, very, very powerful. And I recommend everyone to go on the internet and pick it up, because he has from all over the world, you know, people that go through a divorce, they talk to each other, you know, very valuable.
I told you that this was so touching, and I watched then 2 brothers when they talk to each other. Amazing, really amazing, fantastic idea.
He is really changing the way we communicate. He's making an impact on the world. He's just coming out now with an application that you can buy the cards, whether it's for marriage, whether it is for family, whether it's for business, and you just play the game with each other.
Yeah. Amazing, really great idea. In our lives, we have a lot of ups and downs. How do you manage your demons, as I call them?
Beautiful question, my dear. Beautiful question. Beautiful question. First of all, I want to reinforce what you just said. We all have demons. The difference between being normal and abnormal is only one of degree. The abnormal a little bit too much demons, and normal a little bit less demons. It's a question of degree. But we are all abnormal in one way or another. I think in my case, I learned to accept my demons.
I think so.
Accept them. First of all, don't fight them, because the more you fight them, the more you reinforce it.
Yeah.
No, I said, that's who I am. That's what I am. Now, I try to embrace my demons. I say, wait a moment, you're part of me. You are me. Who am I fighting? I'm fighting myself. So, you know, so I think that for me, acceptance, self-acceptance is a beginning of healing. Because once I accept it and I don't fight it, then I say, okay, how can we collaborate? What can we do about it, you know? Easy does it. And what my mother used to say, love heals. The more love, the more healing. So the way I heal myself is with love. Self-love, and surround myself with people that love me, you know, so it is easier to handle the demons.
Yep, thank you. So Isaac, besides writing books, what are your other passions in your life?
Really, truly, I love to lecture. Even now I'm going on a 7 countries trip for 3 months to lecture. I like to share my thoughts, my philosophy, my experiences with others, hoping that it might help them and improve their life too. Because my passion is to really contribute. I really contribute. You know, Natasha, when I finish a lecture, you know, I arrive to my lecture very often exhausted. I flew all the way from somewhere, you know, landed, went to the hotel, took a shower, going to the lecture room, 500 people or 1,000 people in the audience. I should be exhausted. I should be dead. Just the opposite happens to me. At the end of my lecture, I have much more energy than the beginning of the lecture. Why? Because I feel I'm making a difference to people's life. I feel I'm contributing. I can feel the audience that they like what I'm saying, or they, I don't know. And then I get an email 20 years later, somebody says, I want you to know you changed me. So that is where my passion is. If I can help people, it gives me a lot of energy. So writing books alone is very, you feel you don't know who is going to read it. You don't know who is going to do what with it. So it's not very fulfilling. It's fulfilling to me because writing the book, I write the book for myself. I don't sit down and say, what would Natasha want to know? No, I said for myself to clarify my thinking. Writing the book is to clarify my thinking. That's why I rewrite my book 30 times until I finally understand what the hell am I talking about. And then who reads it, I have no idea. What they do with it, I have no idea. So it's not too fulfilling. It's fulfilling to me to clarify myself, but not enough. What is fulfilling is to lecture, to teach, to help people think clearly, correctly, in the right way. Beyond that, I'm trying to. That's why I have to stop in 10 minutes. I'm trying to get deeper into meditation. I want to meditate every day, and I meditate every Sunday with a group of people. I think that meditation will help. I'm really thinking it's, and then I try to do yoga every day. So I used to do folk dancing, by the way, the Serbian and the Macedonian folk dances, but I'm now getting too old for that. We have to do some knee replacements before I can do that. But that was used to be my biggest passion, is dancing the Macedonian and Serbian dances, or playing my accordion. So playing accordion, dancing, folk dancing, yoga, meditation. That's my free
time. In your opinion, what is success? What is your greatest achievement? How would you describe it to us?
Oh my God. It's not a joke what I'm going to tell you now.
Okay.
The biggest achievement is I lost 5 kilos of my fat. That was my biggest achievement. You know why? Because it was the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
Losing weight and going on a diet. My God. It's easier for me to write a book. It's easier for me to lecture to the cabinet or the prime minister in some country. Losing weight, that is my demon. My demon is called bread. Bread. I'm from Macedonia. I'm from Serbia. Without bread, a meal does not exist. So I need bread. And fighting bread, oh my God. That is my biggest achievement. My second biggest achievement is to shut up and listen, because I talk too much and not listen enough. So everything else, easy.
I just love this. We know you as one of the world's leading management consultant and researcher, but you are much more than that. If I'm not wrong, you were also studying bioenergy. A few times you visited an ashram in India, and as you said, you practice meditation, yoga. So what do you personally gain from these practices?
I think what you learn is called comparative. You don't know literature until you study comparative literature. You don't know political science until you study comparative political science, comparing different things. So always get out of the box if you want to understand what is in the box. You don't understand your own culture till you go to another culture. So I always try to cross disciplines as much as possible. I would like to learn chemistry tomorrow. I would like to learn tomorrow anthropology, because you always pick up something that you say, aha, it applies to here. You know, I could not have developed my methodology unless I knew something about meditation. I learn in the ashram, and I never know what I'm going to learn. That's what I love about it. It is like going to the jungle and start looking, you know, how interesting, always something new. So I went to the ashram, and it taught me about love. I did not expect to learn about love. And I learned something which I'd like to share with you. He says, love is a choice we make. It's a choice. Some people don't make the choice. You have to say, I'm making a choice. I am going to love. Now, how do you do that? Then he says, it's a muscle. You have to develop it. If you don't, the less you love, the less you will have. The more you love, the more you will have. It's a muscle. I said, wow. So I started learning about that. And in order to have love, you have to stop expecting. So you learn about love. Then I said, wait a moment, how does it apply to business? Wow. Love your customers. Love your workers. The more love in your company, the more successful your company will be. And then I learned something else. I said, wait a moment, love, love. Then I gave a lecture to 5,000 doctors, convention in Las Vegas. It was a convention anti-aging, how to stop aging. And they have all kind of vitamin D3 and vitamin this and vitamin that. You know what my lecture was? Love. The more you love, the younger you will be. Look at people that are in love, full with energy, radiant, they are young. Look people that hate, they look old, they're dying. Love makes you younger. And now I found out in YouTube, they did the research in Yale universities and they've proven it. What prolongs life is not what you eat. It's not how much exercise you do. How much love is there in your life? So I made a ruling for my life. I surround myself with love. Where can I get love? Love from my clients, love from my associates. I love my car, I love my house. That's why I'm in Guadalajara. I love Guadalajara. I want to be where I'm surrounded with love. You will live longer. So I learn from the ashram, I learn from meditation. Then from meditation I learn what is God. What is God? What is God? So I don't look at my writings in my blogs, what I think God is. So and then how does it help the company? How does it help your personal life? How does it help family life? Because it's all the same, Natasha. It's not business is different, family is different, personal life is different. It's all one and the same. It is the same principles ruin everything. So you learn from other fields.
There is a lot of talk about the importance of discipline for achieving real success. Routine is also kind of discipline. So do you have any such daily routine? You talk a little bit before about it, you know, when you decide where to have clients, when to write and so on. So how do you start and how do you finish your day?
The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, I look at my iPhone if I have any messages. That's how it starts. Unfortunately, we are becoming prisoners of this bloody telephone and the bloody computer. It's really bad. And I'm trying to discipline myself to look at my iPhone or my e-messages in the morning, in the evening, and not every 10 minutes, you know, with the messages and SMS, because I'm becoming a slave. Now my SMS and my emails are managing me. I'm not managing them. That's my first big fight that I'm trying with myself. Morning, I look at the emails to see what happened, and then I put them in different files to, you know, this is to talk with Stephen, this is to talk with David, this is for me to do. And so I try to organize it. My goal is always to have an empty email box, empty. So I know something has to be done about it. Who is going to do it then, etc. When I finish that, after breakfast, I'm still fighting it. I should meditate 20 minutes. I should. I'm trying to get it into my routine. Then I work. Either I'm doing some work with a client on Zoom, or I get on my computer and I start calling people that I follow up, whether they did what I asked them to do. Because what happens in a company is not what's expected, but what's inspected. So I expect that things really get done. Okay? And then I have usually in the afternoon, I have a yoga class every day, a yoga class. I have three times a week, I try to get a good massage. Then dinner in the evening. My wife usually likes to see a movie. I think it's a waste of my time because I hate all them movies. They're very rare good movies. I cannot find good movies. Most of them are a waste of my time. But if it's not a movie, then I go back and I write. I love to write. When I write, I kind of find myself, excites me, I lose myself, I get deeply involved. The only danger of writing at night is that I cannot sleep afterwards because my mind gets activated and keeps going for hours. So it's dangerous. If I write in the evening, I don't sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's it, basically what I do.
I just love your honesty because, you know, I expected that you would say, like, very disciplined.
I wish. This is what I would like to be, but that's not who I am.
Great. I love it. Thank you. You are a coach yourself. Do you also have your own coach? And do you find this important and why?
Sure. I have different coaches for different things. You probably know, you were one of my coaches, and I want everybody to know that you are fantastic. You really are good.
Thank you.
You helped me a lot. I will never forget when I told you that I never had a childhood because of the Holocaust. I was in a concentration camp. And then I started working to help my family because my father was wounded in a working accident at the age of 11. And I've never stopped working. Here I am 81, I'm still working. I cannot stop working. One of my demons is that I work. I only work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. I work. I don't live. My life is my work. And you told me if you never had a childhood, why don't you take care of that child of you with you? And I remember, and I thank you very much because it really made me very emotional. I took myself on a walk around the Bled Lake, holding imaginary myself by hand and talking to him that everything will be okay in life. And don't worry, you will overcome, you'll be okay. So you really helped me. I want to thank you. You're really good. You're very, very good. You're very intelligent, very insightful, and very helpful. So anybody that makes sense to me, that contributes to me, is my coach. Sometimes my coach is my grandson. Anybody that makes sense, I said, wow, thank you very much. So it's not that I have one coach. I have whoever helps me deal with my demons, with my own scars, is my coach.
Great, thank you. So slowly we will finish. And
yeah, we better, yeah.
Yes, and let's finish with the question, what message would you give to our audience? What is the most important things for you in life?
Love.
Love, as you said. Love.
And there is no love without mutual respect and trust. You cannot say, I love my garden, but you treat it like shit. There must be what is trust? Common interest. I have your interest in my heart. That's why you trust me. And I have your interest in my heart. And you have my interest in your heart. That's why we trust each other. So trust is, do we have common interest? Do we care for each other? That's the people we trust. And respect is that we accept each other's differences because we learn from each other's differences. So if there is trust and respect, there is love. Otherwise, love is empty word. So I work on how to improve mutual trust and respect, which leads to love. Love is a result. Love is not an input. Input is passion, sexual attraction. We call it love. It's attraction. Love is an ongoing relationship that all the time grows, an improvement in mutual trust and respect. Natasha, I love you. I must go. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.